Today on eNEWS, why Lethbridge College is jumping in the esports bandwagon, how convocation has changed for Lethbridge College this year, and what made the Home Garden Show this year go virtual.
Hello and welcome to eNEWS. I'm Jackson McGinn.
And I'm Alejandra Pulido, and here's today's top story. Lethbridge College has shifted its attention towards esports in a big way. With the COVID-19 pandemic, many traditional sports have been put on pause, resulting in students looking for other avenues of entertainment and learning. Nathan Ryder has more on the story.
Lethbridge College is getting its game on. With COVID-19 shutting down all traditional Kodiak sports, a number of programs have shifted to include esports teams, including the athletic department with teams, games, and tournaments, and shoutcasting within the digital communications and media program. Kodiak's athletic director Todd Coughlin says esports has been on the radar for years, but the COVID-19 pandemic expedited its inclusion.
It still had its traction, just not to where we wanted to be. But then, so it's a twofold. But with the pandemic, it's definitely went from probably about 3 miles an hour to about 160.
The esports industry has been growing exponentially even prior to the pandemic. Many experts see it becoming on par with traditional sports.
In 2 to 3 to even 5 years, I expect esports to really take the seat of what regular sports has done, like traditional sports, only because there's so many parallels. I mean, the competition and what it is at its core and the jobs that are around it and the economics factors are all very similar.
Coughlin says the challenge with running esports is to find out what games students are playing and want to compete in.
Maybe they got their own little group of 5, 6 that meet once a week that we don't know about. So we want to reach out to those and have them give us the feedback to make sure that we are pursuing the right games.
Because of the increase in technology, it has become easier for esports to prosper. However, there has been concerns over the reliance on technology.
A lot of products, and I don't need to get too deep into that because I think most people understand the advantage of online esports in that sense. But 3-4 years back, the biggest change was the acceptance of technology.
Nathan Ryder, eNEWS.
So far, Lethbridge College has participated in events for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and FIFA. Moving forward, the college hopes to add more games and host live events. Lethbridge College's faculty and staff members are ready to welcome students back to campus this fall. The college is also making the process easier and more affordable. The savings will be automatically applied to any student who applies between April 1st and 30th online, reducing the usual $100 application processing fee to $50. Prospective students can visit explorelc.ca to take a virtual tour, speak with a recruiter, or learn more about living in residence.
This is one way we hope to get some more students thinking about it, and really education just opens new pathways for everyone, and we know that.
Specific details about which classes will be offered on campus will be finalized in the coming months, but it's expected that every program except for fully online-only classes will have an on-campus presence this fall. The Lethbridge Home and Garden Show 2021 took place this week, but it looked much different than it has in previous 40 years. Mario Carbadilla is standing by to tell you why. Mario.
Thanks, Sally. Because of pandemic restrictions and regulations, the Home and Garden Show this year moved to a virtual format rather than its traditional in-person setting. I talked to Lethbridge and District Exhibition to see how that looks like.
So the fact that we can't do that how we traditionally would is disappointing.
Lethbridge and District Exhibition says the annual Home and Garden Show was not in line with the government of Alberta's standards and regulations, resulting in the show this year moving to an online format.
So we've shifted our sales a bit here, and we've created an online interactive directory where we're still able to connect our exhibitors and vendors to our community to help encourage local shopping.
Lethbridge and District Exhibition hopes that the directory will act as a resource tool for shoppers moving forward. Walkthrough says that even though there is nothing that could compare to a live, intimate show, allowing businesses to directly connect with shoppers and display their products, the pandemic allowed them an opportunity to innovate and adapt.
And obviously, we can't do that in our traditional format this year, but those businesses still need the opportunities like the Home and Garden Show, like Egg Expo, to showcase their business.
Exhibition Pork says that while providing a canvas for local businesses to showcase their business is their goal, doing that in a safe and responsible way remains the most important priority.
Mario, is Exhibition Park going back to in-person events in the future?
Ali, unfortunately, Exhibition Pork says that it is still too early to say because they still don't know what summer or fall will look like. But the only event they are confident of running this summer will be the farmers market that'll kick off this coming May until October.
Thanks, Mario. Students are preparing for final exams as the winter semester comes to a close. Exam week is a stressful time for all students, and late nights of studying and working on assignments only add to the stress. Mental health experts say it's easy for students to overwork themselves. Taking proper breaks is important. Janay Patel says he often doesn't manage his stress properly, but others shouldn't do what he does.
I don't do much in terms of self-care through finals week. Like, I sort of normally just accept that it's a very stressful time, and I sort of normalized just being super stressed in the last 3 weeks of a semester.
For those wanting study tips and advice on how to properly prepare for exams, the college encouraged students to book an appointment with the Learning Cafe. And still with the Lethbridge College, convocation has changed again this year. The changes impact programs that require practicums that take place after April the most. Convocation has become an actual graduation ceremony, meaning that all coursework has to be done by April 30th. That includes a practicum in order to be eligible for graduation in May. Students finishing classes and coursework after April 30th will graduate in October. Some students say it's not a problem to wait a little bit longer.
I think when it comes to graduating, later in the year back in October, I'm not overly worried about it because at the end of the day, we still have the skills and we were still able to make it through the semester.
There are a few programs that run their practicums in May and June. Those students will have to wait until October for their ceremony as well. With summer fast approaching, local wedding venues around Lethbridge are gearing up for what could be a busy season despite COVID-19. Wedding venues say they are eager to start the season but are feeling disheartened by current COVID-19 restrictions. Carson Marksuk reports.
The ballroom at the Coast Hotel and Conference Center is currently quiet and empty, but in a short period of time it will be full of couples celebrating their bid day. LA Chef's Director of Sales and Business Development, Marie Galliana, says last year was better than anticipated, but this summer could be huge.
This summer is looking very busy. We have weddings Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. I mean, it's crazy how much interest there was.
With COVID-19 restrictions limiting the number of guests being allowed to attend indoor weddings, many have chosen to move their celebrations outside. A local rental contractor says most of his summer bookings are scheduled to take place outdoors.
We were able to get up to 50 and 100 people outdoors during the summer was fantastic. And that's kind of something that we're hoping again for this summer too.
Local wedding venues say they're already booking for 2022. Galliana says many couples have moved their wedding date from 2020 to 2022 with the hope that more people will be able to attend their special day.
I will say with confidence that I've never seen such demand as I am seeing right now. We are getting sometimes 8 inquiries a day for 2022. So I feel like 2022 is going to be the year of the wedding. I've already said that a few times in some interviews and putting it out there, but it's looking very optimistic.
In spite of a busy summer ahead, Pranger says he feels the wedding industry has been neglected by the government when it comes to COVID-19 restrictions.
It's just kind of disheartening when, you see places like restaurants can put up some acrylic pieces and still have guests gathering, but that's something we could do in a ballroom, no problem.
Wedding venues around Lethbridge say they wish the restrictions were based on the percentage of capacity, as most ballrooms are over 10,000 square feet and can hold more than 10 people while physically distanced from one another. Carson Marsouk, eNEWS.
With constantly changing restrictions, wedding venues in Lethbridge say they are being flexible and working with their clients to plan their special day, even if it means pushing their wedding to 2022 or beyond. Coming up after the break, Jackson McGinn takes over. He'll show you why addiction is perceived as one of the causes of homelessness and how another local business changed how it operates to adjust with COVID-19 with sweet results. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Campus Horizon. I'm Alejandra Pulido and I'm joined today by Nancy Russell, Dean of Student Affairs. Thank you for joining us, Nancy.
My pleasure.
So for those of us who are not very familiar with Student Affairs, could you let us know what your department does and how that is impacted by the students or the student body?
Absolutely. Well, it's a very broad portfolio, so it includes athletics, residence, the Wellness Center, Indigenous, International Services, career and academic advising, and career development, as well as student conduct. So we work with students in all facets.
Okay, and we're finishing off this semester, but the college is already getting ready for the fall. Mm-hmm. Could you let us know what the thought process was and what was the decision making for expanding the on-campus presence for next semester?
Sure. Well, I think first of all, we did have a number of students on campus, such as yourselves, doing that kind of hands-on experience. And so we will continue with that, and we're also looking at expanding that because we know that students want to be back on campus. They want to be working with other students. And so I think we're keeping the wellness of students in mind, but also the mental health of students in mind, and wanting to serve that experience that most students come to college for, and that's to be with other students.
Okay, so what made the decision happen? Like what parameters were in place for you to expand the in-person on campus?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's not a final decision yet.
Okay.
It's all based on what happens over the next couple months with numbers in terms of infections, but also vaccinations. So it is a tentative plan, mm-hmm. and we will watch closely to see what happens and make more definite decisions probably towards the end of May or June, once we have a sense of what that looks like. So it's like I say, it's not definite, but we're very hopeful that we will be able to move towards that direction.
Oh, okay. And I know you were featured in the Wider Horizons article, A Family Affair.
Yes.
So do you think that will continue with the next generations?
I hope so. I have a grandson who went to daycare here, and they don't live here right now, but okay. I would like to see him come back here sometime and take a program here. Both of my children did, so mm-hmm. we're definitely a college family.
Oh, that's wonderful. So thank you for joining us today. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for for Campus Horizons. And thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Great, thank you so much.
I'm Darcy Wilson with your 5-day weather forecast provided by Environment Canada. Monday is going to be partly cloudy with the high of 5. Tuesday is also going to be partly cloudy with the high of 8. Wednesday will also be partly cloudy with that high of 7. Thursday we're supposed to get some snow and a high of 13 somehow. And then Friday is just going to be cloudy with a high of 14. Thank you for listening to this 5-day weather forecast.
Thanks, Darzia. Time now for our weekly hashtag segment. This week, Cole Sear takes a look at some ideas for weekend shows.
Good day, everyone. My name is Cole Sear, here today with some ideas for weekend shows.
If you like to binge shorter episodes, I suggest you watch How I Met Your Mother. People have often mistaken the main character as Barney Stinson, thanks to Neil Patrick Harris's charismatic acting. These humorous episodes are only 20 minutes long and home to many memorable characters and lines. A perfect evening choice for kicking back and relaxing. You can find it on Amazon Prime Video. If you're into somewhat older movies, check out The Sixth Sense. And no, I'm not picking it because I share my first name with the kid in the film. This classic 1999 thriller film will draw you in and keep you engaged right until the end. But don't worry, you'll find no spoilers here. You can rent it for $4 on Amazon Prime Video and probably find it at your local library. That's all the time I've got today. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy the shows.
Thanks, Cole. Experts say addiction is just one cause of homelessness. They say an addict's brain often tricks humans into believing their addiction is the most important part of their life. As a result, homelessness needs to be treated in order to be solved. Sylvia Adam reports.
Studies show a strong correlation between addiction and homelessness. When a person struggles from addiction, their brain tricks them into believing nothing is more important than their addiction. Lethbridge College criminal justice instructor Aaron Ailson says the brain makes an addict's body think it's sick.
You know, whether it's nausea or fever or shakes or the feeling of bugs under the skin or whatever those negative feelings are.
Ailson adds that this comes at the expense of family, dental care, and paying rent or mortgage. He says more support is needed. MLA Shannon Phillips says the government needs to step up and deal with homelessness.
There are a number of different ways that cities and jurisdictions around the world, and particularly in the United States, have addressed this issue, including, housing first type programs whereby, people are given a house.
Phillips says that Housing First programs have been proven to reduce homelessness. As a community, Ailson says we need to be more understanding and empathetic of those who struggle with addiction. He says the public needs to understand that addiction isn't always a choice, but an addict's brain tricking them. To help fight addiction, Ailson says we need more detox beds and treatment centers. Sylvia Adam, eNEWS.
Ailson says the work Lethbridge did with Arches and the Needle Exchange program was good. He adds removing these support is abandoning people who struggle with addiction. Lethbridge City Council has extended the mandatory face covering bylaw to December 31st. The bylaw was originally intended to end last January, but was extended until the end of April. All businesses are also required by the bylaw to post mandatory face covering signages as a reminder to shoppers. One business owner in downtown Lethbridge says he has no problem with the mask bylaw since it is for the sake of everyone's safety. However, he says that the problem lies with shoppers who refuse to wear masks.
If this is for the greater good, then that's kind of where my priorities lie. The only thing that we really have to deal with right now is the people who really don't want to wear masks.
The bylaw requires face covering when in an indoor enclosed or substantial enclosed public space or in a public vehicle. A violation could lead to a $100 fine. For more information, go to the City of Lethbridge website. The Lethbridge Police Services is clamping down on dangerous driving in the city and the surrounding areas. Officers are on the road all hours of the day to keep them safe to drive on. Lethbridge police have been seeing dangerous driving within the city every day. They mostly see speeding, racing, and stunting. The main areas where the dangerous driving occurs are Mayor McGrath Drive South and Scenic Drive. The Lethbridge police have also seen unsafe driving practices in the industrial area and open parking lots. They say traffic violation, including stunting, come with a large fine.
Dangerous driving would be stunting, and stunting is a $567 fine, and it comes with 4 demerits on your license.
To help keep the roads safe, LPS has officers designated for traffic enforcement. Their job is to enforce the rules of the road to keep all motorists and pedestrians safe. Lethbridge residents are finding a sense of community within skateboarding. Skateboarders are encouraging people of all ages to take up the sport as a way to keep both physically and mentally fit. Josiah Spiker has the story.
Skateboarding got its start as a rebellious pastime, often synonymous with punk rock and partying. The sport was often looked down upon by the general public because of its laid-back and defiant style. The public perception of skating has drastically changed over the years, with the sport gaining popularity through well-known personalities like Tony Hawk and Rodney Mullen. The skateboarding industry is now worth billions of dollars and was even supposed to debut as an Olympic sport this last year. Cities now put in skate parks and kids are encouraged to try the sport. But Callum Atkinson says the community is what makes the sport great.
All the guys and just really getting to bond with a ton of cool people, and skaters are just the coolest.
Skating has created a subculture in sports. Unlike other sports that are guided by rules and set plays, skating encourages creativity, risk-taking, and freedom. Skating is also a mental escape for people, letting them get away from the grind of life and into a different type of grind. Taras Panchishan took up skating to impress the ladies, but says kids should take up skateboarding for the exercise and mental health benefits.
Well, most of them are pretty lazy these days, so they should get out and have a little go at some exercise. It's good, like the other fella said there, about the exercise and the mental goodness, and it's a pretty good time, you know?
For those wanting to try skateboarding, there are 3 main skate parks in Lethbridge. Here at Legacy Park on the north side, SLP Park on the south side, and Watermark Park on the west side. Josiah Spiker, eNEWS.
Panchishan says kids shouldn't be scared to try out skateboarding because even though you may experience a scrape or two, it's a lot of laughs. As the weather starts to warm up, people are beginning to get outside for some fresh air. But if you are looking to buy a new bike this spring, you may be out of luck. Alberta has been experiencing a shortage of bikes since the start of the pandemic. Local bike shops in Lethbridge are struggling to meet the growing demand. The shortage is being felt across the world as suppliers can't keep up with the rising demand. Ascent Cycle in Lethbridge says it has a waiting list of over 500 customers hoping to purchase a bike this spring. The shortage carried over the last year, with Ascent selling out within the first warm week in March.
We have no bikes left to sell. Everything on the floor is pretty much on hold for somebody or pre-sold. And we're getting shipments, but it's all so delayed because the supply is can't keep up with the demand right now.
Staff advise those who are looking to buy a bike to be patient, not picky. And if you see one you like, buy it before it's too late. It's been almost 20 years since Lethbridge's Nicole Stratichuk became the female junior world champion of Taekwondo. Now she's passing on to others her knowledge and skills in her own studio. Alejandra Pulido had the opportunity to talk to her about her experiences and career achievements.
Nicole Stratichuk started Taekwondo when she was 7 years old and achieved her black belt by the age of 14 and her world title shortly after at the age of 17. Now she enjoys passing on her knowledge and skills to students. That has been a passion of hers since opening Champion Taekwondo with her husband in 2015. She enjoys that aspect of Taekwondo and martial arts as well.
And helping instill the values and belief systems of martial arts and Taekwondo into our kids and students and leaders of tomorrow, that is where I find the most benefit.
At Champion Taekwondo, they offer different level classes as well as by age. Their Little Champs program is designed for kids 4 to 6 years old, where they learn the basics of Taekwondo before they begin to earn their colored belts. But since last year, due to COVID-19, they had to make some changes to the way they teach their courses. Now they offer classes online as well as in person and run them simultaneously. Taekwondo can be practiced by anyone 4 years and older. People can start at the basic level at any time, and it's never too late to get started. Pam Halliwell, an assistant instructor as well as a student of Champion Taekwondo, has been practicing Taekwondo for over 20 years. She has been working alongside Ms. Stratichuk since she and her husband opened the studio and says it has been a great experience.
Awesome. She's a great inspiration to not only women, but children and to the male participants as well.
Stratichuk and her team continue to work with others throughout Taekwondo while following all health regulations. This story was produced prior to April 6, when COVID regulations changed. A local business has found a sweet way of adjusting to COVID-19 pandemic. As I found out, it's another example of how the business community can make changes to a business model in a bid to survive challenging times. It appears people are willing to walk from far and near to visit this downtown treasure. House Sweet, located in the historic Oliver Building, is a twist of a traditional candy store. House Sweet has been running since the start of 2018. And while thousands of Canada's businesses have been devastated by the pandemic, staff say it hasn't seen a difference in customer traffic since COVID-19 hit. Owner Colin Howe says he sees a bright future for his candy shop.
Love to be able to then, hire staff and then, continue to grow the small business into, something where maybe it allows me to retire somewhere down the road.
Colin and Carrie Howe have embarked on a wild adventure, creating a space where people can find enjoyment in reliving their youth and sharing memories along the way. House Sweet has a wide variety of sweets for people in and around Lethbridge, including bubblegum, pop, and classic fudge. The House Sweet business model also includes providing a wide variety of services like candy buffets for weddings and hosting parties. It's become a go-to shop when you are trying to find that perfect gift for that special someone. It also has gift ideas, baskets, and candy bouquets.
So we've actually seen an increase in business. Now, would we have seen that same increase if there was no COVID? Tough to say.
Jackson McGinn, eNEWS. Due to the new restrictions the Alberta government implemented on Tuesday, House Sweet will reduce customer capacity to 15% occupancy with a maximum of 5 customers permitted in the store at any time. And before we go today, it's time for our weekly Top 5 segment. This week we have Trevor Graham with his Top 5 NHL players right now. Trevor?
How's it going, everyone? My name is Trevor, and today I'll be giving you my top 5 greatest NHL players right now. It's a very subjective list, so everyone's will be a little bit different. With that being said, let's hop right into it. At number 5, we got Patrick Kane. Ever since Kane entered the league back in 2007, he's been an absolute stud. They don't call him Showtime Kane for nothing. At number 4, we got Sid the Kid. Need I say more? At 3, we got the best goal scorer in the NHL right now, that being Austin Matthews. Matthews currently leads the league in goals and isn't showing any signs of slowing down. At 2, we got the Dutchland Dangler, the German Gretzky, Neon Leon, call him what you want, but his name is Leon Draisaitl, and he ranks 2nd on my list. And finally, at number 1, Connor McDavid. McDavid currently sits 1st in league scoring. In my eyes and in a lot of people's eyes, Connor McDavid is the best player since Wayne Gretzky. If he continues at this pace, there's no doubt in my mind he could be a top 3 player of all time. Well, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed my list of top 5 current NHL players.
Thanks, Trevor. Well, Ali, this is the wrap for eNEWS this year. Ali, do you have any plans for the spring and summer?
Immediately after class, I'm going to spend 1 week with my daughter, and then I will do my practicum, and hopefully right after that, I will get a job.
Perfect. Well, that's it for eNEWS this week. I'm Jackson McGinn, and for Ali Polito and all of us here at eNEWS, have a great weekend, and we'll see you again in the fall.